First and last name and job title.
Hi, my name is Detective Robert Siegel, and I'm with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Animal Cruelty Unit.
Where are we at and why are we here?
We're in the 4000 block of East Judson, and we're currently investigating an animal fighting ring that is occurring here at this home with what we believe at this time to be over 300 roosters.
And the purpose of these 300 roosters?
Well, the whole purpose of raising roosters in this regard is to fight them. It's done as gambling and pleasure. And just attending these fights is a crime in the state of Nevada. And raising the roosters and having the implements for the animals to fight is additional crimes. And in this case, we believe he is a major player in the underground gambling as well as the underground animal fighting rings because of the large amounts of cash as well as the large amount of animals that were on property.
And these people that are dressed in white suits behind you, who are they and what are they doing?
Luckily, we have a lot of volunteers from the community that care about animals, and they have special training and have agreed to come out and help us on these large-scale operations because we just don't have the ability in a timely and safe manner to catch the number of roosters that we have on this property without the assistance of outside help.
And now can you talk about how you initially were coming here for a narcotics search warrant?
What occurred is another division within the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department was doing a criminal investigation, and during the service of their search warrant here, it was learned that this operation was occurring, and they contacted me to continue additional follow-up.
And can you just name the kind of charges this person will face upon being found guilty for all this fighting roosters and all that stuff?
Right now the investigation is still ongoing, and as we continue, we'll see exactly what is here. But charges will certainly be for having implements involved in cockfighting, having the roosters themselves, as well as willful, malicious, and torture of the animals for how they are being treated, how they are being housed, and particularly for some of the surgeries that were done to these roosters ahead of time. For a rooster to be able to fight, you have to remove certain parts of the animal. Such as the wattle, the crown, and the spurs, so that when the fight is occurring, you don't end up with additional blood that keeps them from being able to see.
And last question on my end, what's going to happen to these 300 plus roosters?
Well, let me start over, I'm sorry. The 300 plus roosters that we have here will be taken to the Animal Foundation. The goal of the Animal Foundation is to try to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome not just roosters and chickens, but any animal that comes to their facility. Oftentimes, roosters that have been involved in animal fighting are too aggressive and have too many injuries to be properly rehomed, but we will make every effort to rehabilitate and rehome these.
How many people have been arrested?
Currently, one person is in custody.
Only one?
Right now it's just the homeowner, as we believe he was operating it out of here. This wasn't an active fight that was occurring. This is somebody that's raising and training the roosters for fighting.
Is this investigation gonna take you for, I don't know, people that they buy them and they use them for fights, for real people that they pay and they participate in these fights?
Well, what is likely occurring here is this is an individual that raises and sells to other people, and then he oftentimes is probably involved in the fighting himself. So you're going to have a main player that is going to help transport these animals in, oftentimes from Mexico or other South American countries that have a quality lineage. So you're paying an extremely large sum of money, anywhere from several hundred to $10,000 and more for proper breeding stock that has a history of being a successful fighter. So this individual is going to import those animals in, train them, and demonstrate their quality, and then he's likely selling them. But to demonstrate their quality, he's also going to be involved in the fighting aspect as well. So he's going to be taking those roosters out to fights that are held both locally in the state of Nevada and even in other states. Sometimes people will travel hundreds or thousands of miles to get to regional or national competitions. You almost have to think about it as a March Madness type situation. You start at the bottom and your goal is to get to the big show, which is some of the regional and national competitions. And those national competitions bring people not just from the US, but from countries all over the world that participate in animal fighting. And then those individuals will bet large sums of money. Oftentimes you have narcotics involved as well, and they travel here for it. It is their sport, it is their joy. And that's what the goal is here. You start early in the season, which is where we are now in January, for your final portion of the season, which is going to be somewhere April, May time, which is where your big competitions are, usually outside of the state of Nevada.
So one last question, one person arrests, which charge and what kind of penalty they could be looking for?
The fact that he has the implements to be involved in animal fighting, particularly cockfighting, and the fact that he has all these roosters, he'll be facing multiple felony charges related to the torture of the animals, the housing and training of the animals, and having the implements involved in the fighting.